So the moment that you've been all waiting for, the riveting part 2 of the TKS video. And I will say I am so grateful for everyone's comments because I have to rethink this a little bit. That scepter, it's gonna be a little bit of an issue, but fluid dynamics has certainly never been my strong suit. So I brought my dad with to help me kind of get everything set up and dialed in here. So take a look. We spent a great time in the hangar together getting everything set up, and I want to take you and show you that. So this video started to get a little long again, so get ready. Part 3 of 2 is going to come. Everything just showed up for that third part, kind of that scepter replacement, but you'll see exactly why here in the video. Thank you so much. Happy holidays, and we'll see you soon. So I'm back in my little corner here at the Chicago Executive Airport in the hangar, and I'm going to start getting the pumps set up here so that they're up and working. Now, I'm not a really good engineer, but my dad is. He's here, and he's here to help put this all together. So it's really cool. We got engineer Dan, I'm the prodigy Al, and it's time to get this thing up and running. So I'm going to have my dad kind of walk around some of his thoughts, where a lot of is very similar to people who were watching the video that, hey, we got to make a few tweaks here. So let's take a look.
Okay, so Al was walking me through his idea here, and well, here's down here we have this. I call this one. This is the master, where all the bug juice lives. Okay, so this is where the antifreeze lives, and there's a big DC motor pump here that is going to pump this through a little hose here. Now the problem, the good news is it's all automatic. You can turn it on and off. The bad news is we need a long extension cord to go all the way across the hangar here, which is pretty huge. Or what we could do is fill up this little, I call it a little satellite filler. And this is actually pretty nice. It's easy to lift now that it's empty. But if you filled this thing up all the way and you wanted to maybe go outside, you got to go across those door tracks. Let's take a look at these wheels, all right? These wheels, okay, they might make it, but ideally they'd be a little bit bigger, and these are plastic. Ideally it would be slightly different. The other thing is this handle. I don't know about you, but pumping 8 gallons with a little handle here. Let's see if I can get the, one little squirt at a time, coming from the ground essentially up to the wing level. That's going to take a while, and I'm probably going to be mad when I'm done, right? Like, there's got to be a better way. So Al and I were talking. I was thinking, well, maybe we need a something like this. Why not put this motor? Why don't we take a pump similar to this, put it on here, make a little switch, so that when we roll this out to the airplane, wherever it is in the hangar, or if it's out on the tarmac, we just put this in there, flip a little switch, and make our life easier.
So this is the thing I just absolutely love about the channel and everyone's comments, is that pointing out little things and learning. What I thought was a great idea obviously needs a few little tweaks here, but some of you have actually asked, hey, why not just bypass this little red tank here? And the reason why I need it is that I would say about 60% of the time when I fill up my airplane with TKS, the airplane is inside in the hangar, and just with a nice 100-foot extension cord, this thing should be able to move around and be nice and simple. But the other 40% of the time, my airplane is already in position on the ramp, or the FBO, because I'm in a community hangar, has me pulled out onto the ramp. So oftentimes I have to lug TKS fluid all the way outside, come back and forth. So I'm trying to minimize this. So we're probably going to end up creating a little wagon for it. And but today we're just going to get our drum set up so that I can easily wheel this around the hangar, and that's going to be at least a great first start. All right, so we're going to set the pump up here, and from the last video you guys saw that we had everything kind of like already sort of assembled. We have to hook up the electrical connection to this. which I've got the cable over there. Had to get a plug for it, so installed a plug. Got to install the wire into the housing here, and then we should be relatively. Oh, we got to put the little bracket on that holds the pump, and then we should be ready to roll. All right, here we go. So we're on the home stretch here of getting this this pump set up. So just so you're aware, it's pretty easy. There is a little, we had to take this cover off here, so that's what these little bolts are, the Allen heads are. Then it's actually really nice and well engineered here. It's got a gasket for waterproofing, but we had to connect basically this cable all the way into here. This is a little tensioner and waterproofing thing, and then connect it to the connector here, and then bolt it down with that little with that screw, so things don't vibrate when the pump's running, and all that. So that looks pretty cool. All in all, when unpackaging it to get to this point, probably about 20 to 30 minutes or so. Anyway, but it's pretty cool. All right, amazing. We actually have everything set up here, so let's just take a quick look. Okay, this is awesome. We've got everything connected here, and the pump hose is connected. You can see as it goes all the way down here, and then lines right back up here to our handle. The handle is going to be super simple. I can just twist this, which will essentially just get this out for us. And then in order to put this back in, I can put that through, twist, and then it will lock and hold. The pump switch is down here, which is really nice. Now, so I'm super cranked about this. We're just getting the airplane pulled back into the hangar here. I used some TKS earlier this week, so it's going to top it off for a good week of flying. But since we haven't used this before, and this is a pretty beefy pump, what we're going to do, just to see the flow rate before we test it, is actually push some fluid, feed it back into the drum. That way we can see, we're not doing it in the plane for the first time, don't need a big thing of paper towels and all that. But let's see here. I'm pretty excited about it. We'll give it a try. As you can see, it's a 15-gallon flow, 15-gallon per minute pump. So essentially, this thing is 14 gallons. It would be able to pump that thing up in 1 minute. So, that's our only real concern. So the way that we're going to try to throttle it in practice before doing it in the airplane is by only just throttling the valve here. So let's give it a try. Let's see what it does. All right, so we're really excited to try this out. We actually just did a little test run, and right before we actually used this, we kind of caught a mistake. And that was that this is a DC pump, and we had it all set up for AC, but luckily we were having our little phase 2 for this guy all set up. We brought a car battery, which is what this is right here, and we just undid the socket switch that we had installed, and then put this on, put the little clamps on. So I think we actually need a little switch in here. That was a really basic, little toggle switch. We can get a new switch. That's going to be easy to do. But this is pretty cool. So if we set that up, get this running, get that started.
1, 2.
There we go. Pump's running. so here we are. We've got our little setup. We've got our car battery. We've got our plugs here to connect to the terminals when we're ready to go. And we've got this drum here. So we're gonna push this back up. I know this doesn't look as perfect. I'm gonna try to do some refinement and in order to make this a little bit more appealing. But I'm really excited. It's a little phase one, a little bit of testing, and we'll get this thing set up. I'd be very curious to know what you guys think, what you would do differently. I'm all ears, and I'm willing to try anything. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you would do to refine this little setup, and all. So we're gonna go top this off. We've got it got a little practice in, and let's make it a go here. I'm excited. All right, so I'm ready to actually start filling up the TKS tank. I have about 2 gallons in each tank, so that's 4 total, and the whole system holds 8. A couple things that I always try to be aware of when I fill up the TKS fluid is when I actually pull off the cap. So we want to use the little black de-ice key, which is great. I can go ahead and take this off and twist it, but what I don't want to do is leave this on the wing or kind of on the wing walk. Usually when we're doing this outside, what ends up happening is that it's a little windy, 10 knot, 15 knot wind or greater, then this cap starts rolling across the wing and scratches it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the cap on our little barrel here, so that way I don't have to worry about anything. I can fully concentrate on filling up the tank. So we're just ready to start filling up the tank here. There's a couple things that I just want to be aware of when filling up a TKS tank. A lot of times I'll get calls from people asking, hey, there's fluid all over the wheel pan. That's normal, that's a vent. You want that to happen. Sometimes it looks like a little bit more of a mess than what it actually is. There's nothing mechanically wrong. That's a signal that you've overfilled the tank. So what I try to do, I stick my finger in the tank, and I want to make sure that I leave just on the first crease of my finger pad right here. I want to make sure that I don't fill it up all the way up to the tippy top as if you would want to do with fuel. Leave a little space in there so the tank can breathe a bit, and that will help minimize any kind of venting of the fluid that you'll get. So let's go give this a try. We'll hook up the battery, and should be awesome. Let's do it. So I've got the tank filled up, and if I put my finger in here, I can start to see that I actually have just the right amount of fluid. I've got just enough where the tip of my finger tip right here will get some fluid on it, but anything else is my finger's not fully submerged in the fluid, which I like, and that's a way to help prevent any of this TKS venting over your wheel pan. So I'm pretty happy with this. You know, it's easy to throttle the fluid that goes through, and you know, there's a couple little splatters here, but that's okay. I like that a lot better than dealing with funnels and doing this in the wind. So it's definitely a lot easier, and actually kind of already I can start to feel it where I'm gonna like this a lot more, and I'm gonna be comfortable in making sure that I have all the TKS fluid that I need. Not just the legal amount to dispatch, which is 5 gallons for no de-icing conditions. I'm pretty cranked about this. So anyway, this should be really cool. I'm excited. So before we do that, we're just gonna seal this up. That's awesome, and we're ready to go. And you can see what I'm talking about is that there's a little bit of fluid splatter on the wheel pan. That's just a sign of overflowing, and all you have to do is use your little finger pad to measure the proper amount. So this little part of my finger where the crease is, that's kind of my little measuring stick to make sure that I have enough fluid and not overfilled. And if I do overfill, this is the result. As soon as you drain the system or enough vents out or use the system, that should go. Make sure you wipe that off, keep it clean, and that way it prevents a mess in the hangar.